Very good evening, all of you, and very good afternoon, Lalitha. The whole purpose of these interactions that we have been having for the last couple of weeks is basically to present what is happening around. The reality is that the job market in India is down. But if anyone were of the opinion that by leaving India and going abroad, the job market is going to be fantastic and therefore one is going to benefit from the euphoria that exists, frankly, euphoria does not exist. One of the things I keep saying is what we are seeing in the current generation, driven more by the COVID, is a revolution. This is the AI revolution. And the pace with which technology has overtaken our ability to think is something that has never happened in the human history. So we are going to see a lot of disruption, and one of the ways it will manifest itself is by the loss of jobs being taken over by AI. This is not going to be limited only to the tech sector. This is going to impact every sector, and the impact is already felt. But even today, people really do not know what is going to be the whole picture like. When I go to various colleges, and I do visit a lot of colleges, I interact with people who are going to graduate out or have graduated out. They talk about despondency. They talk about the fact that they have been sending resumes to so many companies and companies are not reverting. They talk about the fact that companies which have given offer are now not giving the date of joining. They even talk about companies which have recruited people firing them in short notice. This is because even companies are not aware of what they are supposed to do, because the discoveries and the inventions which are happening are so phenomenal that when something comes to the market, it is immediately absorbed, which also means that people who have been doing those roles suddenly become redundant. I give the example of Microsoft. Microsoft India has already declared the fact that 75% of their current roles would be taken over by AI within the end of this year. So the change is huge. The time duration is short, which basically means space is huge.
Yep.
Going abroad probably will provide you with right insights into this change, because unfortunately we in India are still stuck with the old technology. But going abroad has its own set of risk. Though opportunities will increase, one has to understand this opportunity has been noted by quite a few people across the world. Many people are traveling. This is also compounded by what is happening across various countries. We talk about President Trump because everyone in India talks about USA. But reality is this change is happening everywhere. Australia has tightened the screw. Ireland has upped the requirement. UK, it's reducing the post-study work visa duration, increasing the duration of PR. Smaller nations are now inviting people. Newer geographies are opening up. Countries which not many of us used to look at a couple of years back, now we are looking at them closely. Ireland is, of course, at the top of the pick, but countries like Sweden, Netherlands, Belgium, New Zealand, Dubai, now they have also come to the front. But challenges exist everywhere. One of the very important things I keep talking about is just because a place A is not good does not mean any place that is not A is good. Every country has its own set of challenges. We are not just talking about admission. Admission is the easier part. Yes, visas have become tougher, but students are still getting visas. But once they go and join for their education there, what is that they need to do? They can't continue the way they have continued in India, because the systems in India are very different from the systems abroad. And if we do not learn how to master those systems, we are not going to take benefit of our education abroad. So what we have been doing is we have been inviting recent graduates to come and share what they did, because frankly, they have been able to achieve what you all wish to achieve: job. Today, we are looking at another geography. I talk about this as a very important geography because I know many of you people will be looking at it very, very seriously, because the exciting thing about this geography is that, for example, today, a news article says that Ireland has come out as the most educated and employed nation. The good thing about Ireland is also the fact that the master's being 1 year, not just shrinks the costing, but also the timeline for you to join the workforce. But challenges are there. So today I have a deep pleasure in introducing Lalitha. She has been my kid for some time now. She basically went to Trinity College Dublin, which is the college we talk about in Ireland. She did her MBA there and immediately got herself a job. Ireland is an exciting economy. It caters to quite a few leading sectors, most importantly, technology sectors, including product companies. Most of the top companies have set up their European headquarters in Ireland for one reason. Ireland is a part of European Union, and more importantly, it speaks English. Pharmaceutical companies have taken deep roots there simply because of the tax benefits that Ireland has offered to attract them. We have amazing things happening in the field of management with top schools like Trinity University College Dublin being leaders not just in Ireland but across the world. So yes, Ireland is an exciting country. And yes, I know many of you people will probably be fighting to enter that country. But what we need to know is what is that we need to do once we are there? Because at the end of the day, we need jobs. Quite often, whenever I'm counseling students, I keep reminding them our motto is not just education. I'm a very firm believer in the fact that if education cannot be monetized, education does not have any value. That becomes especially true when many of us go abroad, pay in foreign currency, and seek that education. It is a sacrifice. When you are 20, 21, 22, 23, you are excited about the travel. You are excited about newer discoveries. But it's a parental sacrifice. And a couple of years, when you do mature a little bit, you'll realize the fact that it's also a sacrifice at your end. How I wish India were one country where everyone comes. How I wish India were not just a developing country, probably evolves itself as a developed country. And probably we are going in that pathway, but we are not there as yet. So yes, people will continue to migrate out, but not everyone who migrates is successful. I'm sure you hear about many people struggling to get jobs in the US, in the UK. But what you probably do not know is this struggle exists everywhere. India is not just one. We talk about people who are getting jobs in the US, but that reality also exists in other countries. There are many who are getting jobs, but not all. We need to be among those few who do. So what we need to do, we need to do. We need to make sense of the sacrifice that we are making. We need to make sense of the investment that we are making. And the bottom line is a job. The fight does not end up with the job alone. Job during the post-study visa is one part. We then need work visa. Because without us getting the work visa, we cannot continue to be there in that nation. Post-work visa for many of us, the journey will continue because we then need permanent residency and probably even citizenship. It's a long journey, but that long journey has to start with one strong step. So Lalitha, thank you so much for taking your time out. Really very grateful. This is the time when there is a lot of fear in minds of people. Uncertainty is huge. And yes, AI is a very dirty word, but it's a word that we have to continue to live with and embrace. So I would, the whole game plan today is simple, probably 40, 45 minutes. I will leave the floor to you where you probably could run through your background and then talk about why Ireland, because that is one thing I keep telling students. You should know when you are picking up a country, you should know what attracted you towards that country, because the expectations have to be set right. And then, of course, your journey during your masters, the challenges, the opportunities, and a special focus on what you did for whatever small things, including the finances side, because many of our kids here come from middle class, lower middle class, quite a few of them are taking education loan. In fact, I don't think there's anyone who is relying entirely on their own savings. And therefore, it's a big investment, and insights from you would be quite enriching for them too. All right.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me for this session because I do know that and I have been in that place where 70 members are now, couple of years back. Yeah, maybe I'll start with a bit of introduction where people would be able to connect that I was an electrical engineer and then I started like everybody else as a campus placement with Cognizant as software developer, that too with Java. And then I worked for 5 years in Cognizant. That is pretty much my a holistic experience in India. But then that's where I started shifting the game because I don't want to be in that race where I've been just living a mediocre life. That's where I started dreaming more, aiming more, and then working more. So I quit my job. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be that social leader who would be able to create an impact with whatever the work I do in whatever the sector I was. So I was preparing for that. That's when I went to Conduria to get more insights. I have heard about Abdullah sir before from a couple of others, and that's when he gave me the idea of like why you're not thinking about MBA. Isn't it that similar? So just that thought started this whole journey. I would say that thought helped me to move where I am now. So that is why I really thank you again on this platform. I've been told again. So thank you very much. But let's move now to Ireland, I would say, because that's the focus and we'll see what we can learn about from my experience. So I moved to Ireland for my MBA from Trinity College Dublin. I picked Trinity College Dublin because it has good ranking, but more than ranking, one reason I picked Trinity College among 5 other universities I got admissions from Ireland as well as UK. It's because I need diversity, multicultural background. That's where our skills coming from India, we were kind of constricted and we learned most of our bachelor degrees is through conventional learning. But I wanted to expand my learning horizons. So I picked a Trinity College because I have a lot of diversity. Literally, there are 15 to 20 nationalities were there in my class. So that's my edge and that's my choice of the university. Hope you all have chosen something like that. Why I picked Ireland? I got admissions from UK as well, and they are pretty much equal ranking universities in that space. But why Ireland? Couple of benefits which Abdullah sir has already highlighted. But after coming here, I realized even more benefits to some extent is that pharma industry is so huge in Ireland. It's so huge that even from Andhra we don't see to that extent. I'm not really sure how many of you or how many of the colleges in Andhra or Telangana states are aware of the growing pharma sector, even in Hyderabad. So that pharma is so huge, like entire Ireland, West Coast has so many startups, like booming startups in healthcare sector. That is a very great opportunity for us that with our bachelor degrees, with our hard skills from India, Indian education, we would be able to leverage our skills, right? So that's the one thing. And it has really base for two other, I would say three other industries in entire EU. One is fintech. Finance, most of you would be from bachelor's, like engineering degrees. I'm not sure how many of you would be from business background, but you would be from bachelor's engineering degree. But your skills could contribute to finance in this new growing, I would call ecosystem, fintech sector. It's a huge, uh, it's actually a massive one. So, and then the next one is obviously tech is everywhere. It's based for most of the big companies, FANG companies, and everyone. There's it's like a big base here. And apart from that, there is one more sector is consulting. So the management consulting or tech consulting, it's again a I would call third or fourth place in the entire revenue perspective. So these are the four industries which for us when we are trying to migrate it gives a lot of opportunities for us to explore and expand our skills. So that's one reason why I picked Ireland. And second, obviously, we have the benefit of English. We don't have to learn Irish at all. That's a significant ease on our stress. That's second thing. And third one, I like places where we would expand our soft skills. I don't want to sit in front of a system and do the coding. For that, maybe I would be just sitting in India and just do the coding. But I wanted to grow more in my career. So it means I wanted to expand my skills in all levels, hard skills, soft skills, everything. So I felt Ireland is the right place where, as it is the hub and as it is part of EU, you'll find people from different nationalities in Ireland. So that is the greatest advantage that I looked for Ireland. So these are all the reasons pretty much why I picked Ireland, and it still says stays the same. So I hope these are the couple of reasons for you also.
I think
And
one of the very
yeah,
important takeaways from what Lalitha has mentioned is something that we need to understand. Today, many of us, I'm sure many of you who are here right now, come from tech background. But the fact of the matter is today, building tech expertise in a given sector becomes all the more important. A generalist, frankly, has no value. So for example, Lalitha was talking about engineering and then moving to the area of finance. Frankly, I did that in India as well. All right. I am an engineer, mechanical engineer. Then I did my MBA in finance. I worked in Crystal, which is a Standard and Poor's company, which is number one in the US when it comes to the rating and advisory in the area of finance. The fact of the matter is what we learn in engineering is not just the hard engineering tricks. It's also the logical thinking, the problem solving. And those elements become very important as you go up the ladder. So fintech is booming across the board. All right. And yes, Ireland is a master in that. But one of the most important things that I believe you should have taken from what Lalitha was mentioning is that startups in the bio side, in the pharma side, believe me, there's a lot of things that are happening on the area of data science there, the use of evolving technologies to make things effective. And that is, again, something that is very important. I would love Lalitha to elaborate a little bit, but one of the very important elements that you need to understand is that countries where you have masters of 1 year now are very different from countries where you have masters for 2 years. Now, when you have 1 year, the amount of content that you can absorb, amount of skills that you can develop is going to be to that extent lesser in breadth. So what UK, Ireland, etc. do is they don't give a masters which is a wide masters. They give a narrower masters. And then they see to it that 1 year you are there, you dig as deep as possible so that by the time you go to the market, in that sector, the companies which are playing roles are in love with you because you have brought the tech side and you have brought a marriage between the tech and the company's sector. And that is one opportunity that people would have to necessarily be open to. All right. Lalitha, continue with the story because it is a very engaging one. How exactly was your first week at Ireland, both outside the campus and within the campus? Question number one. Question number two, you have been a student in India. You have now been a student in a globally renowned institution. How different were they? And what is that our kids have to do to see to it that they are ready to do well in that different setting? So that would be very enlightening for our kids.
first week in Ireland, it's I hope nobody faces the challenge, but I would say the first week is bit stressful for me because I didn't get my proper accommodation. So I really hope none of you face that his situation. And I helped Shiv Kumar when he's moving to Sweden not to face the same situation. I mentored him not to get into that. So but once my accommodation is sorted, that's where the beauty started of me moving to Ireland and experiencing it. In a way, I picked an accommodation where I would be staying with an Irish family because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I don't want to be with the same. See, I am like you guys, just in India, even in team meetings, happens in corporate sometimes in your own mother tongue. It just happens even in Hyderabad or Chennai. But I wanted to be more. So I just picked an accommodation where I could stay with an Irish family so I can absorb their culture, and I improve my speaking skills and communication because it's necessary, right? We have to just up our game among many others. So I started living with them, and it was so beautiful. And Irish people are so warm and kind that you will be experiencing once you move. I'm admittedly telling that they are so warmer than Indians in some cases. So it was so good. But when once it started my college, I moved to Ireland 2 weeks ahead, making sure that I'm aligned by the time my course starts. So once my course started, the first thing you would be seeing is not going through course or what do you have, what assignments you do, what exams do you have. No, that's not the education system how they do it here. In India we would be focusing on when is the semester, when are the end dates, when are the midterm exams. No, but here you have to focus is like first get to know your classmates. Who are they? Where are they coming from? What are their background? Which industry? You might be getting people from different countries with different industry exposure. Building the relationship, the first step, I would say. So that is most important than what exam you are be taking as part of your course. That first week, I engaged in building that relationship, sir. Literally, I focused on learning about more people with genuine interest, which country they are coming from, what industry they worked, or even if it is graduation, okay, how their country or their culture is doing it, how their exams were. So it all helped me first thing to build that relationship, which I'm having is after 2 years. That is most important. Why I'm talking about relationships is your soft skill starts with communication that leads to building relationships that leads to your job. It's not that you're applying in Naukri. It's not that people won't pick CVs. There are so many CVs, and AI can write a well written CV, but it's not CVs. It's people that companies will pick. So your soft skill starts from day one in your class, how you are engaging, how you are presenting yourself in the class. So I would say that that's my first step, what I started doing. And in the course wise, yeah, I did actually masters in India as well. This my masters in Ireland is second masters, so I can talk about the masters difference in India and versus Ireland. In India, it's kind of still brain rot. It's still the same. No matter 2025, no matter how many technologies we have, how much revenue, how much GDP we are doing, still our education system is we have a syllabus, we have the papers, by heart it, write it in an essay and submit it. There is no space for you, space for me at least, I would say. There wasn't enough space for me to explore the content in depth because I was restricted to the syllabus and I was restricted to the sort of questions that the examiner is expecting me to answer. But in Ireland, we call it essays too. But those essays are for you to explore yourself, like how deep you could talk about AI. For suppose they can ask, it could be a simple assignment. Do you think AI would be helpful for the society or not? That's where you are exploring the content of AI or the concept of AI in depth. So here you have more space to learn the content in depth, which is most of the time by yourself. People won't spoon feed here. They won't give you material. You have to learn by yourself. They will provide you, of course, the recommendations, the great sources, but it's up to the student exploring the content. So I would say that's the different way. And this is the exactly a great opportunity for us to learn more. I study like I could just study in book. I can't interact with that with persons. I'm not able to get different perspectives. But if you're doing these assignments, group assignments as part of my course, that helped me to learn. The steeping curve was so quick in my course. 1 year course, short course with multiple nationalities. The assignment structure is different. You have to think, brainstorm the ideas, and come up with a solution. That's the game for job.
All right, quite a few points, Lalita. All right, I'm going to be
Yeah.
picking up a few points and linking with what Lalita said. Number one, accommodation. Believe me, when it comes to the Europe side, and now even Canada has joined that league, accommodation is a big bloody pain. All right, that is true even for UK being a part of Europe. One of the very
Everywhere.
important, yeah, I mean, one of the points that you need to understand is in the model in these countries is more city is built around educational institutions and companies. So there are going to be a lot of youngsters who are going to be there, and these youngsters are going to be competing for the limited accommodation. So it's very, very essential that the moment the decision has been taken, you need to take the leap in that. So that is point number one. Point number two, uh, Lalita rightly said that networking is very essential. Now, in India, we are expected to get jobs because companies actually come in, and then they come in because colleges facilitate that interaction. Now, that responsibility, even international colleges too, but they are not going to be spoon feeding you, hand holding you. So, networking really becomes important. And why is this very important? My greatest complaint in the last 12 months is I see a lot of kids suddenly looking at Europe, which is a good destination. All right. It comes with its own pros and cons. The business model is different, the life model is different, but it's still a better model compared to what you probably will get in India. But in many countries where the language of English is not the first language, if you don't invest in learning that language of the country that you're going to focus in, you are going to be badly handicapped, because once you go there, you will suddenly realize the fact that there are kids coming from different places, and you will realize English is not the connecting factor. And guess what happens then? You are going to then tie up with another Indian or Asian, South Asian, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis who speak our language, and the exposure that we are going to get and the perspective that we are going to get is going to be so limited that the value add that you will be able to do when in the job is going to be less, which is going to put you under a big disadvantage. I've always loved her fighting spirit. And today I'm charmed a little more because she did something which I would have loved to see many people do. Day number one, expand the comfort zone. The fact that she took the decision to stay put with an Irish family is an amazingly difficult decision. I'm sure it would have, been quite challenging the first initial days. But reality is, by forcing herself to come out of the comfort zone, she got herself ready for the new area that she is in. I urge you all to understand this. No more are you going to be a part of an Indian organization. In fact, you should not be a part of Indian organization for many reasons, including the fact that the salary levels are less, the Indian work culture. Uh, you ask anyone who has experienced the international work culture, they will say Indian work culture sucks big time. All right. And frankly, Indian organizations in India and Indian organizations elsewhere in US, etc., are still the same. So if you really are going to prepare yourself for a global organization, then you need to learn how to interact with global citizens. Please, if you are looking for countries like Germany, France, you are looking at countries where English is not the first language. In fact, many people don't even speak English. See to it that you are investing in the language here, because otherwise your GPA might be very good, but you are not going to be getting the experience and education that you are paying for and sacrificing for. Choice of college. I see this madness in people going and picking any college. All right. And you limit that to probably ranking. Ranking is not a bad indicator, but it cannot be the only indicator. When you go, you need to be very conscious. What is my peer group going to be like? We do not want to go to a college and then find 95% of the crowd being only Indian. It is not going to be enriching. You could rather pay in rupee and do that in India. Similarly, One very important element is that when you go and interact with people, study with people from different, your style of thinking changes. In India, ours is a very structured way of doing it. It's very limited in scope. And unfortunately, I can't blame the education system for that. I blame the Indian population for that. So when the population is huge, freedom cannot be given to everyone, because if it puts a lot of load on the faculty, it puts a load on the school. So we can't do it. But the fact is, when you pick an institution where you have people from different backgrounds and you pick a pedagogy where you are going to be given independence to explore and expand the horizon, that is when you start becoming valuable for the companies. Last point, AI. I'm going to bring another perspective of AI. What is AI doing? AI is eating away jobs which are low end jobs, which basically means that tomorrow, if you were to be successful in getting yourself a job, then you are not joining the entry level. The level definition of entry level is going to go up. And when it goes up, you are in a way going to be a leader. The team size is going to be shrinking badly, but you are going to be a leader. You're going to be expected to take strategic decisions. You need to learn how to take bigger risk, because there lies bigger returns and companies are going to demand bigger returns. All those require you to go to the right college, right location, because learning is not going to happen within the college premises alone. It's going to happen outside it too. So when you take a risk, and you are taking a risk, make it count. Don't limit your fight to a very small area. Put the best inside, because returns have to be worthwhile. And I think those are the points with Lalita has been putting in different words. And those are the learnings that we need to carry with ourselves. Lalita, I would love to know, for example, you did mention about the fact that there was a lot of learning to be done through self. Uh, how many hours of classes do you normally have in a given week? And at least in US, we know of many students who have been able to, even in Australia, I know of many kids who have been able to go 4 out of 4 GPA, but then they themselves, acknowledge the fact that they have not taken benefit of the education as much. So my question is very simple. How much is the academic load provided by the institution, not in terms of homework and other assignments? That is something that you have to do by self, but within the classroom. And what amount of time do you spend outside the classroom to reinforce what you have learned inside? I ask you this because if you were to look at Indian colleges, our kids go early in the morning and they are in the college till late in the night. And when they come home, frankly, they go back to the books probably 1 week before the exam. And they still manage to get good scores, also because today universities are a little lenient when it comes to the scoring side. So if you look at the Indian system, it happens within the classroom. And within the classroom, because education has to be a homogeneous one, you don't get that flexibility so much. Our kids are homogeneous. You look at the resumes, not much to differentiate, probably a bit here and there. So how exactly is the system that you went through in Ireland?
Yeah. In a way, I took the toughest course in entire Ireland. Trinity MBA is the toughest, rigorous, and strict. And even in that strict and heavy load, it's hardly 3 hours per day. So that's the class. And you will have, usually the class will be a 3 hours straight class with a break, with couple of breaks, coffee break and lunch break, sort of that. But maximum you will have at any cost is that 6 hours class in a day. And in class, it would be usually interactive. It's not a lecture is showing a PPT and just talking through. It's a conversation. They will pose a question or they will put out a situation where you would be dealing. Even it could be, I did a course on AI as well as part of my MBA. So it's not just I'm limiting to business or other modules which you can't relate. It's even in the tech space. They would be putting out a real time situation that if you are probably a team leader or you are a data engineering manager for a big company and you get a situation where the ethical concerns are being raised. So, what would you do as part of your role? or what kind of technology that you would use as part of the role to mitigate the situation. That's a question, and that's open for the floor to the students to discuss as part of groups. It depends on lecturer types, but usually it happens is like they would divide the class into a couple of groups and they will come up with their unique solutions, and sometimes the solutions could be presented. So it's like a presentation mode where people will be able to express and explore the problem with a potential practical solution. This is how the learning would be in class, the 3 hour class. But your most of the learning, as I said, it would be self learning outside the classroom. It's because if you take this case, just I said, when how you would be exploring a situation in real time, that would be a case study where you will be assigned as part of a group, and your group would be exploring this concept thoroughly outside your classroom, and that's when you would be presenting. So this outside classroom is not like that you have to sit in the campus and do it. It's not so conventional mechanical one. It's more like you would be balancing it out with the learning with what's happening in the current trend. So in a way it's more interactive and conversational, that I find different from India to here.
For many of you people, there's one thing that, again, something which I notice people don't give too much weightage to. There are different type of institutions. Now, Lalitha is talking about Trinity and the program being MBA, which is more preparing people for practical life. I get a lot of kids who are looking at the US. I'll give first the US example, then I'll give Germany example. And they tell me that I want to do MS. I don't want to do a program like MPS. And you know why they do so? Because they do so because they think MS is better than MPS. I think you need to understand today there are a lot of institutions of different kind. There are institutions known for research work. There are institutions and programs which are not focused on research but applying the output of research into practical. So depending on what you want, you need to select the right program. And then you need to ask yourself, this college is known for what? For example, I talk about University of Cincinnati. It's a fantastic college in the US, Ohio, but it's a research institution. For someone who I know is going to look for a job, I keep telling you, look, this is not the right college for you, in spite of the fact that it's a well-known college, but it's well-known for research, not for what you are opting for. Similarly, Germany, anyone who sits in front of me says, I want to go to TUM, the fact of the matter is, Technical University Munich is a research institution. In Germany, we have three types of institutions. We have research universities, we have universities of applied sciences. All the three have different objectives. The way the curriculum is designed, the way the activities are organized are very different. Now imagine you are interested in a job, you are interested in taking leadership in the industry, and you go to a research institution. So what is going to happen is the type of problems that you're going to solve, like what Lalitha talked about, are not going to be applying it in the industry. It is going to be probably something to do with research. So you are not actually learning the skills which you want because the college is designed for something else, but that's not what you saw. All right. And there's one more element which I would like to talk about here: ranking. Now, I often ask kids, in India, let's talk about which is number one institution in India. People rush to say IIT Madras, they talk about IIT Bombay. But reality is, for civil engineering, it is IIT Roorkee. So even within a given specialization, the ranking is very different. So you can't just go by global ranking and think that college is right for you. And this is where many people make a mistake. You need to know what your goal is. And then you need to ask yourself, is that college meeting that goal? Will the curriculum and the pedagogy being followed in the college, will it set the skills which are required for me? So that when I go to the industry chasing my dream, I'm better prepared. MBA is all about practical utilization. And when Lalitha was talking, we call as a case study. What happens is that a problem is given, and that problem is not a research problem, because that is not what MBA is preparing you for. That is not what Lalitha is being prepared for. So the fun actually is very, very different. Point number one. Point number two, the amount of time, all right, Now she went for a big leadership program. I don't know whether you're aware. Trinity is a big name for MBA. Now that is one of the reasons why Ireland is very strong for management, because it has amazing set of colleges there. But if you were to go for a master's program, let's say US, you know what? You are spending 9 hours a week within a classroom. 9 hours, that's it. In UK, in quite a few colleges, you are going to have classes only for 2 days a week. The rest of the time is yours. Now, many people, and this is, I hold Australia as a culprit there. Many people who go to Australia, they go to the classes, manage, and then the rest of the time, they do part-time jobs. And guess what? They're very happy making the money because they think they're making, money in Australian dollars. And in their mind, they start converting that to the Indian rupee and they find it worthwhile. But reality is you are compromising on that. You will still get a fantastic GPA, but then you will not get a job. And then you will complain, jobs are not coming my way. And then you will say, economy is bad, the country is bad. Then you will advise hundreds of people, do not come to Ireland, do not come to USA, but you will not pack your bags and come here. And that is something that you need to be very conscious about. I know of many of my students struggling in the countries they have gone to, but I also know of many others who are like Lalitha. They are living the dream that they have been to. But that starts with taking a right decision. What course do I want to take? Which college should I go to? What geography do I go to? Not because I have an uncle in one geography, I'm going to go there. Not because my friend is going there. His goals and your goals might be very different. And that is also something that you need to be very conscious of. Lalitha, I'm really very happy about the fact that you had a nice time. And I'm sure, though you have not verbalized it, but you did in a way too, that the amount of time you spent outside the classroom was much more intense, reinforcing what you learned within the classroom. So I really hope that the kids here who are looking forward to going abroad will be mentally prepared to utilize the time productively, because one of the greatest negatives of India is we are not told how to plan our time. At home, our parents tell us. In the colleges, our colleges take care of our day schedule. And when we are free, we do not even know how we while away the time. And that indiscipline, because in our mind, GPA is the only parameter. What is the percentage I have? All right. And the reality is, in various of my kids, I know I recently met one kid of mine who had come here from George Mason University. He had a fantastic GPA, and he said, look, I wasted my time. All right. And he was sad about it. And he made a promise he will go back because he had come here only for the summer break to utilize the time. And I'm really happy that you actually did so. All right. I think now let's move to the part-time job scenario. What are the rules? What do people do? I understand the fact that you did not fight for a part-time job. You're more focused on your academics and this thing. But what do people do? I'm sure you would have come across students who have gone there. And how do they find it? And one question that many people ask, and that is more because of their weak financial standing, is to what extent can I actually, cover my expenses, if not, academic side of it, at least the living expenses, by taking part-time job on a legal way without compromising their academics.
Yeah. I think even I wanted to cover this part because I'm seeing a lot of people who moved from India to Ireland and making one mistake that you kind of covered. I'll come back to that later, but I'll give first the basics. 20 hours per week is the eligibility to do part time from, I think you would be coming from September to November. 20 hours per week is the legal permitted number of hours. And here the pay would be per hour basis. So you can choose, sometimes if you can choose only 4 hours. If you can't do it, sometimes you can choose 3 hours. So it depends on that. Or sometimes you can do 5 hours in a week and you cannot take rest. You can take rest for the other day. So it's kind of lenient for you. It depends on where you are looking for. But the advantage that I found after coming here is during the Christmas break and also in summers, any student can work 40 hours per week part time. And that is so good, right? We can cover expenses. But that's where we will lose the game. Most of the Indians are losing the game there. Uh, maybe I'll talk about this end part because I really want to use this platform to tell that. And on the expenses part, honestly, it covers decent, that your living expenses could be covered. When I was looking for part time, I did look for it, but I didn't opt for it because it kind of takes away more my time for part time than I could do for job hunt. Your big dream, if you want to be in Amazon, that's your game. This part time is not your game. It should be a stepping stone. That's all. It should be just there to feed you, to pay your bills. That's all. But your big game and big goal is that company. So don't lose out your goal because you got a part-time opportunity. Just I would suggest everyone take it only for the living expenses. So like I do have a question, and I'm Abdullah, so seriously I'm seeing people who moved from India to Ireland and they are struggling for job even after 2 years. It's because during their masters, yes, as you said, classes are less, 3 hours hardly, and sometimes only 2 days. So rest of the days they were doing part time, 20 hours, and the other 20 hours would be chilling or doing some sort of assignments, and that's all. There is no strategic thinking. There is no well executed part. Once they are done with the course, that's when they realize the pain of job hunting. But I'm telling you, your job hunt starts day one, but you would be joining after your course. But your job hunt process starts from day one, where you would be building out network and you would be building up your profile with your projects, with your mini projects, whatever you are interested in your program, and with your maybe research papers if you are into that research side. So all this would be going parallel when you are doing this course. So I would say part times are available. I didn't do, that's why I don't really say so much of it, but part times are available. It is also a bit of challenge. It's same everywhere. Yeah, it's irrespective of you, as I see my friends everywhere in all countries are facing the thing. But all you have to do is just put out your profile even for part time. Part time job also becomes like a real job search, but it is available for almost everyone.
I think that this is where I would like to again reiterate. Students normally think that research assistantship or RA, how do I get? That's one question many people ask. RA one has one big advantage. It leads to good amount of per hourly rate, and in many cases even a waiver of the fees. But the question I have is very simple. If I'm a person, I'm going to a country, and my idea is basically to look for a job.
Mhm.
Uh, why should I end up taking a RA role which does not actually build the skills or network necessary for me to get the job which is not related to research? One of the things I keep telling the kids, take up a job, maybe in cafe, maybe in pubs, where you need to interact with people. We will learn how to
Yep.
socialize. We will learn how to become a little aggressive. We Indians are by nature a little soft, especially if the person ahead of, in front of us is a white-skinned person with a little heftier body, and suddenly we have this huge inferiority complex that comes in. Part-time is not just about making money. It is essential, like Lalitha rightly said, to pay the bills. But it is about investment in skills. So a high-paying job which does not allow you to interact or require you to interact probably is not the right one to pick. Maybe a low-paying job where you have to interact, especially with the natives, might be a better investment because it also helps you broaden your networking. Second element is how much should you fight for part-time job, how much time you should invest in part-time job is also a function of one more element. If you're going for a program which is a 2-year program, all right, the pace is less, the job hunt starts slowly. But if you're going for a 1-year program, then it's going to be really crazy. Like Lalitha rightly said, any time you spend in part-time job is a time taken away from the job hunt side. So take a very informed decision. My recommendation is very simple. If you are relying on part-time job to pay your bills and they have to be there, then you are not right. This is not the time for you to go. All right, do a bit of saving and go, because you should tomorrow have an option. If you don't wish to do part-time job because you want to focus on something else, you should have the choice, and you should not be under financial stress at that critical time. So that is something that you need to do. And Lalitha rightly said the 20 hours, 40 hours, that is true for most of the countries. US has the same rule. In few countries, it's 32 hours. 28 hours. So those numbers could change, but all the countries give you the flexibility of part-time jobs. Okay. Lalitha, now what about your full-time job hunt? How does it happen?
Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful part, I would say. Yeah.
And a challenging one,
Uh,
I'm sure, stressful one.
yes. Yeah. Probably if you're hearing so far when I'm talking that it's good and everything, you might be assuming that I didn't face enough challenges in job hunt, but that's not true. I did have my own share of struggles, and that is I got this job. I'm currently working as IT business systems analyst for global supply chain for AstraZeneca. We all know AstraZeneca because of COVID, because of
Right.
their vaccine. Yeah, so we got to know it's one of the biggest top four or top five pharma as part of revenue, as part of the size of the company. And now I work with markets US, Canada, Australia, international, entire EU, and Japan. So that's the breadth of work I do as part of my role, IT business analyst. And I sit in the company where I would be improving the business processes. At the same time, I would be initiating AI driven projects for the supply chain. So, in a nutshell, that's my role and the breadth of the projects that I would be working. Coming to the work, I would say full time work, like work culture and everything. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't find the words. It's just beautiful. I no, I worked in India for 5 years, right? It is so beautiful in a way that it's more people centric. Any person, be it engineer, you would be given the opportunity to learn about the company in bit more uh, in a full picture view, and you would be given the choices to
Lalita,
think and give.
you're
Yeah,
talking about in Ireland or in India?
in Ireland.
Ireland. Okay.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, if you could just verbalize the what you're expanding, the one or two critical differences that you experience a professional there and here, please.
Mm,
Yeah, you are doing
in,
that. Continue with that.
in comparison with India and Ireland.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. That's the chapter I forgot in India, yeah, but I do will recollect it. I would say the culture. This is where Abdullah sir point of networking plays a role because inside the company also, if you want to progress in your career, it's all about building relationship and putting out your soft skills. A couple of others, we all can get 4 out of 4 GPA or 90% out of 100. We get all these percentages. But if you want to excel in the job, you have to get these soft skills and these things done well. And that is the difference. That is the thing I didn't find in India. India didn't give the enough platform for everyone to move forward based on your skills, because it I would still feel, sir, probably it might be changing. I'm a bit oldie when I worked in India, I don't know, but still I would say that India still kind of restricts to the role where you can't expand. For suppose if your role is a software developer on a Java or a Python, you kind of sticks to that role. But in Ireland, even though you are doing that same engineer role, you would be participating into the business discussions, you would be part of that bit more strategic team. So I find that is more opportunities people who wanted to grow in that corporate sector. So that's the one thing I find. And next on to the work life culture, work hours. Oh God. I worked till 12 o'clock in India. I worked from 7 to 12 in India. But here I don't have to work after my work hours at all. And nobody will bother me right after work hours or not even on weekends. You get great work life balance, which is existing almost zero in India.
Yeah, that's sad but true.
Yeah. But these are two things I would say that's the major contrast between work culture when I compare with India and Ireland.
Okay, I'm going to be requesting the members of the audience, if you do have any question that you would like to ask, please do make it a point to raise your hand. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. And as a part of this exercise, what I have done is I have collected questions, through the online mode, and I'm actually asking Lalita that. So in a way, I am verbalizing the doubts that you have. but I'm sure you probably, a few of you at least, have very specific questions to ask. So please make it a point to raise your hand. Use platforms of this nature to get your doubts clarified. On a daily basis, I am counseling kids. But believe me, the perspective that I give is very, very different from the perspective that you can gain from Lalitha, because she is in ground zero. And my awareness about colleges, sectors, etc., are more from the top. She is at the ground level. So get the doubts clarified, because those will help you take informed decisions, be much better prepared. And that is the whole objective of networking. Networking is not about knowing a person. Networking is about leverage the person's strengths, all right, to your advantage. And that you need to do. I'm also going to be requesting Lalitha to please do share your LinkedIn address, so that people can ping, link up with
Yep.
you. Use all these platforms to expand your thing. And LinkedIn is a very powerful thing. But I do have one request, which is something which I keep saying. Uh, Quite often I introduce my current students to my ex-students sometimes. And then I then get a feedback that, this guy is asking continuously 1, 2, 3 questions, and if the answer takes a little delay, a question mark starts coming. You need to understand the fact that the people you are interacting with are professionals. They have their own workload. Quite a few of them will respond, but you'll have to give them some a little more of time. All right. So please give respect to that. And this is where one more element I would talk about. And I did warn Lalitha too, because of my experience in the past. Program that starts at 8:30 never starts at 8:30. Okay. I think that that Indian Standard Time mode is something that you will have to come out of, because one big feedback that I've got from a lot of kids outside is that the time discipline demand that organizations put, the institutions put, is a cultural shock in a way, and I think we have to prepare ourselves for towards that end. Lalitha,
Uh,
you have something to say?
yeah, yeah, I have a point there. Most of us would feel like, okay, what if nobody comes on time and I have to be early on the time discipline? But I would tell you one small thing that helped me, would help you is just go early. Go early, even 5-10 minutes. But I'm telling you that 5-10 minutes will give you edge than many others. Just because there will be two more people and you are there, that 10 minutes you're not fighting to talk with a person. They'll come and talk with you. It's easy, right? It's so easy. These are the small, small things you would do that ups your game in the competition. You don't have to do a lot. You just have to go 5-10 minutes. There will be organizers who would be so glad to meet you. And that's where you introduce and to know more about how they are running. That small talk and then making into big with your profile and with your work. That's the small tip I would always suggest. And I have one story I would tell. I would want people to learn about this because, as you said, that you would be connecting a couple of students, and you all are free to connect me in LinkedIn. But I'm sure that learn something more, have to interact. You're not pinging me like, Lalita, can you give me a job? I'll not be giving you a job because what do I know about you? Nothing. Except your profile, which has some name, which has designation. No. I'll not be picking a person or a CV just like that. So that's the thing that I would ask everyone to change, is that building the relation is like, first interact with the person to know what the other person is doing. Like, first suppose know from me what my company is doing, show some interest what the company is doing, that would help your profile, or you are fit to the company. Do this small small things before you approach for a job. I'm honestly surprised to get blunt messages, can you refer me? Why I would want to refer a stranger? So that's the thing we all have to change, because we are not used to that kind of talking. So we are scared to talk. That is why we directly go jump to ask the question, give me a job. So that's the one point I really want people to notice. And because this is the difference I practically experienced, sir. I had mentored a student who came into Trinity. I don't know which university, no one has connected. He reached out to me in LinkedIn. He asked about, he showed genuine interest knowing about industry, how his role, what is his aims are for. He got a job by the time he finished his masters.
Yeah.
So that's a smart move.
I think I have a story very similar to it. Actually happened last week. I was interacting with Professor Somraju, and I was talking about you know the letter of recommendations. I think the story links with what Lalitha said. One of the greatest problems I see in India is that professors are very lenient about letter of recommendation. So any student can just walk to the HOD, can walk to the professor, and they carry their own draft. Professors write the recommendation and give it. Now, it's probably very good news for the student, but it's very bad news for the professor. Because when the universities realize the fact that the professor is giving too many recommendations and very leniently, and there's a disconnect between the words that is written and the profile of the student, it is not student who is losing, it is a professor who is losing. So when Lalitha said that if you were to write to her saying that refer, you need to understand the fact that if Lalitha were to refer you to a company, it is Lalitha's name that is in the stakes. So if the student in the interview does not perform well, it is not going to be bad on the student. It's going to reflect bad on Lalitha. And this is something I want you to recognize. Uh, Harish has asked a question and something that we have been debating here. I will probably start and then I'll probably bring a lot of
Yeah.
ideas that you have said. The question is, how do we network? How do we network from day one? Harish, we don't
Love the
network from
question.
day one. We network from day minus 100. Yeah. So
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
before you go, if your LinkedIn is not up to date, presenting yourself to people there, you are still in India. All right. If you're not connecting with other people who are already there while you are still in India, packed to go there. And when you do go there, you go 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early. There are two, three people who are there. And Lalitha said they will come and approach. But let us say they don't approach. But if you don't go and approach, then the 5 minutes early has no sense to
No
it.
meaning. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I ask you a question, Harish, and this is a very common stereotyping thing which I have seen. If in your classroom, you are, I'm sure, a graduate somewhere, there are, let's say, 60 students. How many of them do you really know? And if there are 20 girls in your class, how many girls have you actually gone and interacted? Not in a non-serious way, but in a serious way. How many of their interests do you actually know of? And if you're not doing that, then that is not, then you're not interacting. So interaction is not, networking is not something that happens just outside. I'll tell you one more thing that we used to do. I was the president of the student council during my MBA. One of the things I used to do, and I did that quite successfully, was whenever there would be any seminars, etc., I'll sit in the front row. I will not be outside. I will not be invisible. I will bloody sit in the front row. And if the speaker is speaking, I'll nod my head. The reason is very simple. I'm looking at the speaker, but I want the speaker to look at me.
Yeah.
Have you seen in classrooms why teachers love the front benchers? Because front benchers, through their body language, are verbalizing and saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. So the professor is returning the love by looking at you. Similarly, if the speaker were to come out with a joke, I'm going to be probably laughing my heart out. Not because the joke was good, because I want to be noticed. And if there's a break that takes place, Lalitha was saying, and this happens, 3-hour class, there's a break of 10 minutes, 15 minutes. During that time, I'm not going to be hiding with my friends. I'm going to actually take a leap, go speak to the speaker if possible. So I'm not selling. I'm not actually openly selling. I'm not saying, give me a job. I'm basically telling I am what I am. I'm good. All right. All these things are the networking things here. You call this diplomacy, you call this hypocrisy. I don't care. All right. Uh, Fact of the matter is, we have to learn from people who are successful. And believe me, people who are successful are never invisible. They make themselves visible. And I think that is the first step, Harish, to start networking. Don't wait for day number one. I think that the moment you've taken a goal that you are going abroad to whichever country you're going, if you have not already interacted with them, I think you have not started your journey as yet.
Yep.
Okay, Lalitha, anything to add?
Uh, just what you said is a very true point that your game starts when we decided to move. And that's where you start interacting with the alumni, like or the persons who are doing your course, and see to their LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place for, I should not use the word, but for stalking, where the
Yeah.
persons are doing, how what the person's career is in the industry. But because that's how you will get to know, and you will find the persons which are relevant to your industry and to your dream job or company. So you can start from in India. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is so good, and also keep updating it, keep interacting. But I have one more thing that I would tell from my experience seeing many people from India is again that people go for networking, and again they be in their own small circles.
Yeah.
Like you go with your friends, it's fine. But all your friends, your objective is to meet other people, not to interact there sipping drinks and eating nibbies. No, that's not the goal of networking. You go out together, then spread out, interact more, meet people more. That's the thing I really don't find it, sir. And probably this is the reason why I was named as networking queen in my class, because
That's a good
I
one.
go with them and I know most of the people. I used every platform to network. There will be a lot of events. For suppose you are into AI, or for suppose if you are into cryptocurrency, there will be events, startup events, or big companies where they conduct a panels where they'll get the industry leaders. Most of them are free. It's not
Yeah.
paid ones. All you have to do is get out of your bed and home from your comfort zone, be there and get interact.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I get a lot of kids. I was giving example of being a research assistant. They would write a mail to the professor saying that, sir, is there any slot open for being a research assistant? I also have students of mine who write to the professors, having read their papers, talk about the amazing work they have
Exactly.
done, and more importantly, sharing their own research work, which might not be directly relevant to what the professor has done. The second path is a little long planned one, but that is the effective path. The first path is just a procedure that you've ticked. Nothing is going to come out of that.
Yep.
Okay. This talk was supposed to be for 40 minutes. So we are already into it for 70 minutes now. Guys, networking requires one more thing. Remember, I said whenever a talk used to take place, I would sit in the front. But that is not only that. There's one more story. Whenever a talk would take place, I would ask a question. I might already know the answer of it, but that's okay. But I'll ask. You know why? So that the speaker will start recognizing me. More importantly, people around me who are seated in the audience will also recognize me. One of the challenges I find whenever I organize events of this nature is I find a lot of students either before the program or after the program asking me questions, but not during the program. If anyone, I mean, today, and I bet my life on it, at least I will remember Harish, and I'm sure Lalitha will remember Harish for a simple reason that Harish asked a question.
Yep.
And that is also something that we have to learn. Be in the limelight. If you go to the meeting chat, you find one name there. Hello, madam, I am Harish. And the beauty is that chat is not something that I am seeing or Lalitha is seeing. That is many of you are seeing. And then later I'm going to be cleaning up this video, putting this in YouTube. And guess what? Harish's name is going to be there. He has marketed himself, while others have not. All right. That shyness is a big negative. I give this statement, I keep
And
saying, be shameless. Anyway, that is where I'm hoping the fact that these kids, as and when the opportunity comes, at least they will learn these things.
yep.
And if they don't, then it's a heavy cost to be paid. All right. Lalitha, thank you so much. Really very nice to have you here. I'm really very grateful for a couple of reasons. Number one, as I said, right now, there's a lot of fear with Indian economy being what it is. The second thing is, of course, people are now looking at newer geographies, but understanding of the geography is still not there. Ireland is there at the top of quite a few people's mind, but they know a bit about Ireland, but they don't know what is happening in Ireland. We hear a lot about tech side. For example, you brought in the fact that fintech is very strong. So these understanding that would also allow them to choose the right courses to keep themselves prepared for what the market demands are. All right. But more importantly, one of the reasons why I'm connecting with my students and requesting them to come here is because I want people to understand things are bad, but there's a silver lining everywhere. In India, when in a college there are 2,000 kids who are there and 30% get jobs, we are okay. We are happy. But when the same thing else outside, we say economy is bad, Trump is screwing it, etc., etc., etc. So in India, we are okay being in the 30% of people who have got jobs, but we imagine the fact that when we go abroad, we are going to be in the 70% who have not got the jobs. That mindset is something that I keep telling the kids that they will have to have a relook at. Either they have to have faith in themselves, that they will go anywhere, they will learn, they will expand their comfort zone, and they will succeed. Uh, but at the same time, I'm a little cautious giving such an advice because I'm a bit of a more risk taker, having left a government job, left a private sector job to start my own business. So I need to be little mindful of the type of guiding which I give, because I understand not everyone can be as risky. But you have done that, and you have done it this year. You have done it at the time when everyone is talking about AI, everyone is afraid. And Harish has done that, Neha has done that. Next week, next program is going to be from Nehal from Australia. Then I have one more gentle from SJSU who is coming down. So there are so many people who have done it. Stop focusing on people who have not, because they are not you, and you should not be them. And if you believe that you cannot change, I have a strong suggestion. Be in India. Don't go out. Because there's a big difference between outside market and inside market. And the biggest difference is in India, you can stay unemployed. Outside, if you're unemployed, they will throw you out. So if you are dreaming big, then back it up with everything you can. Next time when some talk takes place, as Lalitha said, learn the practices, switch on the video, ask questions. If nothing, do what Harish has done. Do uh, uh, what I have. All right, I'm not able to
No
see the
worries.
name very clearly. Has done, because then you start being in the limelight. However dim the limelight is, it's still better than a shadow. You can't be eclipsed. Uh, So, all right, all of you too, thank you so much for joining. As I said, Lalita has put in her LinkedIn link. Ping her up, know what to ask, know what not to ask.
Come
But
prepared.
build
I would
relationship.
say
Yeah,
come prepared.
yeah. All right. In fact, Lalita, once again, thank you so much. Very, very grateful. Weekend for you, I guess.
Yes.
Do make it a point to enjoy whatever day is remaining on Saturday and tomorrow being Sunday. And I really hope that you will continue, your relationship with Kondira. The reason is, over years to come, I'm sure there are going to be more and more kids who are going to be looking at the international market, especially so because the job market in India, at least I am personally not very optimistic about, because we are still playing the catch-up game when it comes to the AI. We are more busy with a lot of things in life rather than talking about jobs and creation of jobs, and that is something that scares the shit out of me, because I love the place where I am in. I love the enthusiasm of South India, but my fear is we are going to probably become more like North India too, where jobs and hopes are not there. And I shudder to think what will happen. But one impact of that is more and more youngsters will start looking for newer geographies. And I hope when the time comes, they will take an informed decision, not the fact that, the belief that any white-skinned country is going to be better than what they have in India. Sadly, I see kids looking at Italy with a lot of excitement when young Italians are leaving Italy and going outside. Unfortunately, that is not something being seen. What they think is it's Europe, so Europe is Zindabad. So I really hope that today's interaction with you has helped them understand a little more deeper, not just about the Irish economy, the job market, but more importantly of the way the things operate there. Because if they fail to absorb this, then the journey is not going to be very fruitful, and the end result is going to be despondency, because they would then be in a position which is worse than what they are currently, because they would probably have a degree but without a job and a loan at the head. That doesn't really matter. Vardhan has asked a question: what are the top universities in Ireland? Vardhan, this is exactly the point I'm trying to make. Please don't take it bad. You please look at me as a teacher, look at Lalita as a guide. There are a lot of questions that you can do on your own research. This is a question that you could have asked the chat GPT. This is a question that could have been asked in Google. And believe me, it would have given you a big list of top universities. In fact, this question is a very incomplete also because uh, what do I talk about top universities? In what field? For example, in supply chain, it is going to be different. In finance, is going to be different. In MBA, is going to be different. So this question is a very incomplete question and a very redundant question at that. You should have asked something which is a little more personal to what Lalitha has been through, something that would have enriched you. All right. Again, once again, my apologies for the fact that I'm being a bit blunt here. As I keep saying, I'm also a teacher, so my thing is also to see to it that what is happening in this platform, mistakes are not repeated by you in other platforms. But all right, now that you have asked questions, there are quite a few. The top two are, of course, the Trinity, Lalitha being a proud alumni of that, and the UCD. But there are quite a few, National College. There are a lot of other locations as well. Ireland, fortunately for itself, has invested a lot in education. It has also benefited from the fact that its history has been very rich. The UK, Ireland side. So they have a lot of old institutions which have now become global institutions. So you will find a lot of choices, but top institutions, again, as I said, depends on what you're talking about, which sector you're talking about, because each one of them bring their own strengths. A certain institution, as I said, good at research might not be very good at practical programs like MBA. So you will have to do a bit of digging there, but this is something that can be done at home with the power of AI. All right. In fact, even before AI, Google was always there, and this answer would have taken 2 minutes for you to find out. Anyway, thank you so much, all of you. Very good night. Lalitha, once again, thanks a lot. All of you, thank you so much. And Lalitha, once again, thank you so much. Very grateful.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much, sir. Yeah.